All right, welcome to episode number 4 of State of Cowboys Nation. Thank you to everyone that's been liking, subscribing to film videos, watching these videos, watch the previews, the reviews, and it's time for a review. And I'm going to be honest with you, I recorded this once already, but I could not figure out why the screen and why the picture was coming out so blurry. Even on my last videos from yesterday, I wasn't sure why it was coming out blurry. I figured it out. I had a dirty lens. Dirty lens. I prepared my cameras like Eberflus prepared the defense last night. Let's just be honest about it. Speaking of honesty, let's go ahead and jump into it right now. Get it all out in the open. What are the playoff implications now that the Cowboys lost last night? We'll just go ahead and talk about it. Let's get it out. Let's get it over with because there's going to be plenty of trolls. Try to get this camera right. All right, there's going to be plenty of trolls in the NFC. I've had plenty of Lions, Eagles, Vikings fans nonstop trolling, which is fine. As Cowboys fans, are pretty used to it. So let's go ahead and talk about it. Dallas has a 1% chance to make the playoffs. It's not going to happen. If it does happen, it would be more enjoyable because that would mean the Eagles would lose 3 games in a row again, and that would bump them out of the playoffs. But I still don't see Dallas beating the Chargers, which I'm sure now they'll beat the Los Angeles Chargers at home after an embarrassing loss. This would be the game that the Cowboys win. Would not surprise me at all, especially they'll probably be, 3-point underdogs, I would imagine. The Eagles were 2.5-point favorites. So that means Chargers will probably be favored by 3.5 points in Dallas next week. I'll go ahead and guarantee that right now. I'm making my number 3.5. We'll see if it happens. I think it'll sell at 3. But that's what Dallas needs. So, in my opinion, for Dallas, if they win, great. That means they finish the season strong. They win 3 games. They win 2 out of the 3, which I think they'll win 2 out of 3. They'll finish season strong. We head into the off season, put this season behind us. Or Dallas could lose all 3 games or 2 out of the 3, which means they'll just get a better draft pick. So, in rational Cowboy world, which is kind of non-existent for some, but this is probably the best scenario. If Dallas loses, they get a good draft pick. Dallas needs defense. They need safeties. They need linebackers. Even a pass rusher. Who knows? I mean, I wouldn't mind a pass rusher, but not in the first round. First round, let's find. I don't think we need a tackle. I like Terrence Steele. I don't know what the contracts are right now, but we need safeties. Dallas needs safeties. They need corners. So if they can get DBs, that would be amazing. I trust the scouting department. Scouting department's one of the bright sides for Dallas. They find guys from rounds 1 through 7. As long as they're not from Michigan, they turn out to be studs for Dallas. I think what was his name? The nickel corner, Lewis. Lewis is probably the only good Michigan player Dallas has drafted. So, but yeah, there's been more bad than good. So I'll just leave it at that. So those are basically the playoff implications for Dallas. 1% chance. I don't see it happening. If they win, finish strong, great. If they lose, Dallas gets a good draft pick or middle of the road draft pick, and we move on. All right. But let's get into last night. Where was I right and where was I wrong? Let's talk about where I was right first. I said if Dallas was going to lose, it was because JJ McCarthy had the game of his life. And what happened? Career day passing the football. I think career 250. What was this? Let me look it up right here. Yeah, 250 passing yards for JJ McCarthy. He had 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Interception was on the first play of the game, basically. So that happened. McCarthy had a great game. Dallas made him look like a superstar. Looked like Dan Marino out there scrambling around, third down, third and long, making plays to tie it in. Yeah, not good. Not good for Dallas. Dallas, they just went on a run of Jalen Hurts, shut him down. Mahomes, shut him down for the most part. Jared Goff, kind of shut him down. It wasn't the best game. It was a decent game. I think McCarthy had a better game. this week than what Jared Goff had. Goff's receivers actually had the great games, not necessarily Jared Goff. So, where was I wrong? Oh no, there's one more where I was right. Dallas not being able to handle a different defense that wasn't man coverage. We talked about it yesterday. Brian Flores was going to mix up coverages. He was going to send blitzes, and as long as the line held up, as long as Javonte Williams held up, it would be fine. What happens in the first quarter? Javonte Williams is hurt for the rest of the half. I think he came back second drive of the second or the third quarter, I want to say, which turned the game around for Dallas. But they couldn't pick up the blitz. Malik Davis, 5'10", 180, could not hold up in pass coverage at all. Dak, 2, maybe 3 seconds to throw the ball. We're going, the routes don't make any sense. So that was a problem. So I was right there. We looked at the film. We've been watching the film. Dallas has been dominating man coverage. And I brought it up yesterday. If Brian Flores is watching the same tape that we're watching, then he's going to know that. And he's going to do whatever it takes not to run man defense because they don't stand a chance against the Dallas offense. He ran minimal man defense, sending blitzes. Linebackers covered well. Corners did just enough. Dallas loses. Where was I wrong? I thought Dallas was going to win by 17 points. They didn't. They obviously have the talent, plenty of talent to do it, to have won and dominated that game. And I did get nervous last night, right before kickoff around 7 o'clock, when everyone was betting on Dallas, all the tickets, everyone betting on Dallas. I knew something awful was going to happen. My hopes were not high. But of course, that turned around. It changed when Quinnen Williams intercepted the ball. Dallas got a quick touchdown, fake field goal. Vibes were there. They disappeared almost immediately. Once JJ McCarthy marched down the field, answered with a touchdown. Nightmare scenario for Dallas. I was definitely wrong there. Not even close. So now, who's to blame for the loss? It's easy to point fingers. Can we point it at Dak? No, not necessarily. Can we point it at the offense? Can we point it at the defense? Yes to both. What is Schottenheimer doing? We've talked about it for the past couple weeks now. We know Schottenheimer's offense runs like a well-oiled machine against man defense. But whenever that changes, like what happened to George Pickens, it's in the second half, Dallas kind of struggles, coming up with different concepts, and they don't really change. So what was going on? Vikings were blitzing, basically sending at least 4-man rush with a safety or a linebacker, sometimes both. And without Javonte Williams able to pick up those blitzes, and even when he was in the game, Dak only had about 2 or 3 seconds to throw, which, that happens. So what are you supposed to do? You're supposed to scheme around that. Shotty didn't do that. And Collinsworth brought this up, this is a good job on him. He brought this up a couple of times during the game. They don't have anybody crossing. There's nobody over the middle of the field to make it easy for Dak. I mean, they're going out on 2-yard routes, 3-yard routes, and Dak's just checking it down. But, 2 times 3 is what? 6? That leaves you a 4th and 4 every time. Yeah, that's gonna be an issue. Dallas also had more penalties, 7 penalties for about 57 yards. Vikings only had 3 penalties. So Dallas struggled, and then they had a banged up offensive line last night. Tyler Smith got hurt. I think he got punched in the face or something. His nose was messed up, so he was out for a couple series. And then Nate Thomas was out. Adeniji comes in, third string left tackle, hasn't played since probably the Super Bowl season with the Bengals. It's been a while. So all things were going against Dallas, and there's no help. There's no tight end help on the left side. Tight ends aren't helping on the right side. This is one thing I don't understand about Schottenheimer. Doesn't use his tight ends to block. They're always out as either a receiver or going out on the route. Hardly ever in to help block. Dak struggles with that. He needs more time. And no Javonte Williams. He has even less time to throw the football. So why doesn't Shoddy make any adjustments? We'll probably get a better answer, or at least look into it a little bit deeper once we get into the film review later today and this week. But I mean, Dallas, what are you doing here? You got to figure something out offensively. Otherwise, you're gonna have a game like last night where you're not able to move the ball, you're not able to score points, you're trying to trade 3 points for 7 points, which leads us to our next problem: the Eberflus defense. I'm willing to give him a pass for the first half of the season, just due to the personnel was awful. I mean, Jack Sanborn, are you kidding me? No Overshown. You have Kenneth Murray, just old man Kenneth Murray. God bless him, good veteran linebacker, but his instincts, you see it on film. We see it every week on film that they're just not there. He misses the wrong hole. He misses coverages. Same thing with Wilson, the linebacker, misses coverage constantly. Even Overshown sometimes is missed coverage, but he's just coming back, just tore his ACL about a year ago. So he's coming back. So we're gonna give him a pass. And he's also the fastest player on the defense. So he does get a pass for Dallas. But these other players, gosh, Collinsworth pointed it out again. Dallas is in the red zone, or Dallas defense is in the red zone, and they're scrambling around. They don't know who they're covering. And we brought it up on film because you see it on film. They're scrambling around. Nobody knows where they're going. They don't know which coverage they're running. They're usually always, every time that there's a passing touchdown on Dallas, somebody's not in the right coverage almost always, and we pointed out clear as day. Ready in the slot, usually, he's got one man in front of him that, dude, this is the only guy out here. This is your man, and he just doesn't cover him. Malik Hooker, Donovan Wilson, same thing. Older safeties. Donovan Wilson's like a tackling safety, a box safety. So is Malik Hooker. He's a good tackler, but doesn't know what he's doing in coverage, which he's almost been in the league for 10 years. So he should be have a better idea of what to do, but constantly found burnt over the top. You got Siobhan Ravel, another player, great player, a lot of potential there, but coming off an ACL surgery injury about 14 months ago. This is what, his third game, getting playing time, second game starting as, number 2 corner. And what happened? Nailers beating him. Deron Bland shockingly had the best game. Held Justin Jefferson to 2 catches on 8 targets for 22 yards, I believe. He did score a touchdown. It got brought back. He also dropped a wide open touchdown. So not amazing job, but still, you limit Justin Jefferson. That's always a good thing. But Hawkinson, I believe, 6 catches, 67 yards. Where are the linebackers? Where are the linebackers? And then you have Aaron Jones again. I believe he had about 30 something yards. And you have Naylor, who had 60 something yards. And he burnt Ravel. Ravel was just, again, flat footed. And he whipped around, did a spin move. JJ McCarthy, of course, bought some time, and it had him wide open. And then there was the Jordan Addison pass for about 58 yards, I believe we looked at it earlier. 58 yards, and that was almost a touchdown right over Malik Hooker's head. It's just somebody's always doing the wrong coverage, in the wrong coverage. Eberflus, if they bring him back, I'm okay with it because the Cowboys should have the same, if not better, personnel next season. So it's not a big deal for me. But there's something going on there. Either either coaching well, the position coaches aren't coaching like they should be, or you know something's wrong with the defensive players, because there's no way they should be in the wrong coverage constantly in the wrong coverage. A breakdown once or twice happens, nothing too crazy, but um it's like every game, and we point it out. So it's not something we're just seeing live and saying, "Oh, well, he's messing up here, he's messing up there." Somebody's not getting into it. No, some, like, either the teaching's a problem or the reception is a problem. Someone's not figuring it out, and it's got to be somebody, right? There's no way that majority of the defenders in coverage don't know what coverage they're in. That's a problem. Okay, I'm not sure what's going on. And the other thing is, where does Dallas go from here? That's a good question. I think that you have to think about the contracts. I think that's the main thing right now. And again, it starts with Eberflus. Do you bring Eberflus back? Do you not? I think they will bring him back. I think they will give him another chance. It's not like Dallas to have turnover after one season, especially with a whole new regime coming in. I think he gets another year. Again, I've said this before, that his Chicago Bears defenses were pretty strong, and it takes time to build great defenses, but now they have all the players, right? The defensive line, pass rushers, in my opinion, strong. Bring back Clowney on another deal. Another team may pay Clowney a lot of money. He's had probably one of his best seasons as a run stopper. Not so much the pass rush, but run stopping has been amazing. So I'm hoping Dallas gets a good deal, brings back Clowney. Kenneth Murray, I don't know what his contract is, but it's about time to hang him up. Get rid of Wilson, whatever it takes to get rid of Wilson. Got to find linebackers. Got to draft a linebacker. Hooker, Wilson. Dallas needs safeties. They don't have corners. Trevon Diggs, like, are we bringing him back? Is Dallas bringing him back? They're going to roll him out again. He's a man coverage. He plays a lot of man coverage, so that could help. Now that Dallas has a better pass rush, it could help Trevon Diggs, but we won't know until he gets out on the field, which may never happen. So we'll see. And yeah, safeties, DBs, all the DBs. Carson can't even get on the field anymore. Ravel, he should improve. I mean, this guy was like a top 5 draft pick before he tore his ACL, so I'm not worried about him too much. Especially, he's only played like 3 games, so I'm not that worried. But he's had some people. The offenses are attacking him. That's clear as day. Lions attacked him constantly, and the Vikings did last night as well. So I think that's what Dallas has to worry about. And of course, the draft picks got rid of Micah Parsons. That was still a great trade. Dallas has their draft pick. They have the Packers draft pick. Packers will probably be towards the end of the draft. But again, I trust the scouting department. They'll find great players. I'm not worried about that. It's more so the coaching aspect, Schottenheimer, Eberflus. We'll see what happens. But that was the main thing that for me. I really want to dig into the film, and we'll get into that. Again, if y'all have, let's hear what y'all think about the game. Give us a comment. Hotline's still open. Cowboys Nation hotline's still open, but awful game, embarrassing game from the Dallas Cowboys. The defense should be ashamed. We'll dive into it deeper when we look at the film. But yeah, this was an awful game, a game that Dallas desperately needed, and they didn't show up for it, especially on the defensive side of the ball. Offense also didn't do them any favors. So you can't put all the blame on the defense, because the offense, again, penalties, settled for long field goals. They had backup linemen, penalties. It was a mess all over the place. Coaching was awful. Minnesota out schemed Dallas. They outcoached the Cowboys by a large margin, because this is not a good Vikings team. Yes, they have Justin Jefferson. They have a pretty strong defense, but offensively is where the Vikings flourished and were amazing last night. And that's not good. They're literally terrible. They got JJ McCarthy, who looked like, amazing. 250 yards, 2 touchdowns. It's unacceptable. So let me know what y'all think. We'll go ahead and put this episode to rest, put this Viking games to rest. We'll jump into the film, though. We'll see what happened. See, it's going to be a long film session, I imagine. We'll start jumping into it, get into it this week, and see what y'all think. Again, thanks for all the likes, the subscribers. Continue to watch. We appreciate it. And film reviews coming up. Let me know what y'all think. Let's go ahead and we'll see y'all next time.